Hello everyone. My name's Megan and I'm a project officer from the organisation Fidra, and I'm going to talk to you today about PFAS, or the forever chemicals. So just a quick overview of what I'll touch on today. So I'll go through who Fidra are, what PFAS are, how we can detect PFAS in some products, the impacts of PFAS on the environment, animals and humans, what we can do to try and avoid PFAS, and what you can do at school or at home to help with this issue. So firstly, just about Fidra, the organisation I work for. So we are a Scottish charity based in North Berwick, named after the island Fidra off the east coast of Scotland. And our work aims to make a positive impact on the environment. So we work with businesses, the government and the public on a range of issues, mostly focusing on reducing chemicals and plastic pollution in our environment. So one of the chemical groups we work on is PFAS. They are a type of manufactured chemical, meaning that they don't occur naturally in our environment. Scientists have made these chemicals. And PFAS actually stands for per or polyfluoroalkyl substances, which sounds very complicated, but I am to break it down for you. So basically the fluoro just means that it has fluorine in it. The poly or per bit just means that there is more than one fluorine. And then the alkyl bit just means it has got some chains of carbon. So as you can see there in this diagram, we have chains of carbon and fluorine. And there are lots of different types of PFAS. There are believed to be at least 10,000 different types of this PFAS chemical. But one thing that all the PFAS have in common is this carbon-fluorine bond. It's really important to remember when it comes to PFAS that the carbon-fluorine bond is one of the strongest single bonds in chemistry. So because PFAS have this very, very strong bond, it means that they don't break down very easily. So they last for a very, very long time, which is why they also can get called the forever chemicals. And these chemicals were first discovered and used in the 1940s. And then since then have been used in a range of products, from things like waterproof clothing to food packaging, frying pans, stain-resistant school uniforms, and bike oil. So why are they used in such a wide range of products? Well, these PFAS chemicals are known for making things non-stick. So, for example, they make sure that food doesn't stick to a frying pan when cooking. They can also repel water, which can help make things like your raincoats waterproof. And they can repel grease, which can help food packaging maintain their structure when containing like oily or greasy foods. So one really easy way to see PFAS in action and identifying which food packaging products are likely to contain PFAS is something called the bead test, which is something that everyone can do. PFAS are great at making things water, grease or stain resistant. but some can also be very harmful to our environment and our health. And many other chemicals in the PFAS group, we don't know enough about what they can do to us or the environment. So, because they can last for a very, very, very long time, some don't break down in the environment for thousands and thousands of years, which means that for now, they're building up in our environment. And for example, during use of PFAS products, PFAS can enter the environment and waterways quite easily. For example, if you put a stain-resistant school uniform in your washing machine, PFAS from that product can go in the drains. This can then contaminate water and build up in things like marine animals. So hundreds of species have been identified to have PFAS in them so far, from animals like polar bears, otters, birds, and many fish. And unfortunately, this number is forever growing. And there is so much PFAS in our environment that scientists think that many areas have crossed the safe level our Earth can handle. It's been found in our rain, in our drinking water, it's in the sea, it's in animals, and it's building up in the food chain. So unfortunately, some of these PFAS chemicals can be quite harmful and have impacts on animals. For example, PFAS can harm the immune system, blood, liver and kidneys in dolphins. They can also impact the immune system of otters and even cause brain problems in polar bears. High levels of PFAS can impact birds and their hormones, which makes their bodies a lot weaker. PFAS can also cause problems with fish reproduction, fish hormones, metabolism, and fish growth. And PFAS exposure can increase the death rate of bees and disrupt their activity. And unfortunately, it's not just animals. These chemicals can build up in humans over time, and they might cause health problems. So some of the health problems that scientists are concerned about is things like immune system problems. So PFAS might make it harder for our bodies to fight off sickness, meaning we could get sick more often or have trouble recovering from illnesses. They can also disrupt our hormones. So PFAS can impact the way our hormones work. And obviously hormones are like the body's messengers, telling different body parts what to do. So if they're out of balance, they can impact things like our growth, our mood, and more. Some studies suggest that being exposed to high levels of PFAS might increase the risk of certain types of cancer, like kidney or liver cancer. And for babies and young children, exposure to PFAS might impact their growth and development, possibly leading to learning difficulties or problems with behaviour. So that does sound quite scary, but the good news is that more people are becoming aware of the dangers of PFAS, and lots of steps are being taken to reduce their use, which I'll come on to a little bit later. But meanwhile, it's important for us to be aware of what's in the products that we use and how it might impact our health and the environment. So can we avoid PFAS? So as I've already mentioned, there are a lot of sources of PFAS and lots of different products that can contain them. And unfortunately, PFAS is not always labelled in products. So this can make it very challenging for people to avoid. Additionally, we can also be exposed to PFAS through contamination sources. So for example, PFAS has been found to contaminate food that we eat from the food packaging that it's in, for example. So this gives us even less control over being exposed. So this is why we at Fidra are trying to work with the government to ban all avoidable uses of PFAS in the UK, as this will be the most effective way to protect people and the environment. And some positive news is the EU are already working on a wide restriction to ban most uses of PFAS, and we want the UK to do the same. In the meantime, choosing PFAS-free products where possible can help reduce overall exposure to PFAS. So our PFAS-free website has some really helpful resources on PFAS-free products, and other organisations such as ChemSec also have a really useful information in their PFAS-free guide on how to avoid PFAS. And although we no longer work on food packaging and PFAS, our website has some really useful information, such as the various commitments made by UK supermarkets to take action on PFAS in their own brand food packaging. So additionally, another good rule of thumb to use to avoid PFAS is that if the product has properties that make them water, oil, or stain resistant, it is worth investigating whether they contain PFAS, and this will stand you in good stead for recognising when you may want to explore PFAS-free alternatives. So some well-known products that are likely to have PFAS in include things like cookware, clothing, food packaging, but some less well-known products that might include PFAS are things like cosmetics, outdoor equipment, and furniture. So it is important to note that identifying products that contain PFAS, as well as finding PFAS-free alternatives, isn't always easy. And we don't believe it should be the responsibility of the general public, which is why we are calling on the government for a PFAS ban to ensure that these PFAS-free products are accessible to everyone. But in the meantime, contacting your retailer of choice about PFAS in their products can help keep PFAS high on the agenda and encourage a move towards PFAS-free alternatives. So just a really quick summary of what you can do to help. So you can do the bead test. You can go ahead and test your own paper and cardboard food packaging for PFAS. You can certainly look at our PFAS-free website to learn more about PFAS, the alternatives that are available, and we'd also encourage you to look at other organisations too, like ChemSec and ChemTrust, who have lots of information. Something that can be really, really powerful is writing to your MP to share your concerns about PFAS and ask for a PFAS ban in the UK. This will help ensure better protection for both people and wildlife. Also, if you have a favourite brand, for example, like a makeup brand, and you're concerned they might have PFAS in their products, you can also reach out and ask them. Again, this will just ensure addressing PFAS remains a high priority and encourages a move towards PFAS-free alternatives. Thanks very much for listening.